Good morning students, welcome to the chemistry crash course. Today we are going to discuss few more important bit of the topic, and in our last class we have discussed about the VSEPR theory, and here on the basis of the VSEPR theory we can able to identify the geometry of that molecule. Okay. Suppose these are the certain molecules, on the basis of the VSEPR theory we are going to tell about the geometry of that molecule. Okay. Here this is the first type of the molecules where the central atom does not carrying any lone pair of electron. As I said you what is the lone pair of electron and what is the bond pair of the electron, and here these are the molecules which do not possess any lone pair of electron on the central atom. There is no lone pair of electron on the central atom. Okay. Suppose the molecule is of AB2 type, that is arranged in such a way that like this is the central atom and the two B atoms are attached to it, AB2 type of the molecule, and its bond angle, here the bond angle is 180 degree and it is linear in shape. For example, you can take CO2, you can take CO2 as an example, and here AB3, okay, AB3, it means one of the central atom is A and 3 atoms are bonded to it, and it is having the trigonal planar shape which is having the bond angle of 120 degree. Okay. And if it is AB4 type of the molecule, that is having the 109 degree 28 minute and its shape is tetrahedral, and if it is of AB5 type, it is a trigonal bipyramidal shape. If it is of AB6, that will be a octahedral in shape. So these are the molecules which does not carrying the lone pair of electron on the central atom. Okay. Let us go for the some of the molecule which are carrying the lone pair of electrons on the central atom. Suppose AB2 type, where the central atom has the lone pair of electron on it, means it is having the shape bent shape. Okay. And then if the central atom AB3 type, where A is carrying the lone pair of electrons, here we have displayed the lone pair of electron like this, it indicates the lone pair of the electron. If it is a AB3 type of the molecule which is carrying lone pair of electron, that is having the trigonal bipyramidal shape. Okay. So on the basis of the VSEPR theory we can able to predict the geometry of the molecule where the central atom may carry the lone pair of electron or may not be carry the lone pair of electron. Okay. So this is how we can explain about the VSEPR theory. One more important bit of the topic, that is VBT, valence bond theory. Actual the theme of the valence bond theory is the chemical bond is due to the atoms will going to form the chemical bond in order to get the minimum energy and maximum stability. That is the main theme of the VBT, and VBT was proposed by the scientist Hitler and London. Later on some of the scientists developed the theory. Okay. So what is the main intention of this theory is they want to tell us that the chemical bond is due to or the atoms makes the chemical bond in order to get the minimum energy and the maximum stability. Let us take HA and HB are the two atoms. Let us take HA and HB are the two atoms which combine with each other to form the HAB molecule. Okay. Suppose this is the HA atom which is having its electron EA, HA is having its electron EA, and then one more atom HB is there, HB is having its electron EB, HB is having its electron EB. Okay. Now this HA, that is the positive thing, that is the nucleus of HA can able to attract its own electron EA, and even it can able to attract the electron of HB, that is EB. Yes or no? These are the attractive forces. HA develops the attractive force with EA and HA develops the attractive force with EB. Similarly, HB is having the force of attraction with EB, and also HB is having the force of attraction with the EA. Okay. And these are the attractive forces. Similarly, there are repulsive forces. See here, EA and EB are negatively charged, they will repel with each other, and this is the repulsive force, and HA and HB are the positive nucleus, these will going to repel with each other, this will going to be repel with each other. These are the forces which are actually present in the while formation of the chemical bond, we can say. HA and HB approaches with each other, and those are having their own electrons A and EB. There is a development, there is a attractive forces are present between HA and EA and EB. HA is having the attractive force with EA and EB. Similarly, HB is having the attractive force with the EA and EB, and even there is a repulsive forces between the EA and EB, HA and HB. So, whenever previously the atoms, see here I will explain here in the graphical representation. This bonding can be explained by the graphical representation by drawing the graph of potential energy versus internuclear distance. Okay, internuclear distance. Here the two atoms, that is HA and HB, are approaching with each other. As they are approaching, during that time the attractive forces are more, and the potential energy is less, and the potential energy is decreases. So, when the atoms will going to attract with each other at exactly internuclear distance, what happens, the both attractive and repulsive forces balance with each other, the atoms go on combining and they will going to form the covalent bond, and they are going to form a molecule here at the internuclear distance R0, we can able to say. It means as the atoms are coming closer with each other, there is a decrease of the potential energy, and there is a attractive forces are more compared with the repulsive. But when they approach with each other, both attractive and repulsive forces are balanced with each other, and atoms combine with each other to form the molecule. During when there is a formation of this molecule, there is a minimum energy and maximum stability is gained. Okay. So, this is the graphical representation that we are going to draw. Here this is the curve which shows the formation of the molecule. Here the atoms are far away, they are approaching, and here at the internuclear distance those are combined with each other. There is a formation of the chemical bond between the atoms. Okay. So, this is how we can explain about the VBT. The main theme of the VBT is the atoms combine with each other to form a molecule because it wants to get the minimum energy and the maximum stability. Okay. So, let us go for the one more concept, orbital overlapping. So, orbital overlapping means what? There is a overlap, the orbitals will going to merge with each other. The merging of the orbitals is nothing but orbital overlapping. So, there are three types of the overlapping. One is the positive overlapping, negative overlapping and zero overlapping. Okay. And then here in case of positive, let us go for one by one. Positive overlap. Positive overlap means here the orbitals will going to overlap with one of the orbital, overlap with the another orbital. Both the lobes are having the similar charges. Okay. Positive, positive. The lobes are having the same charges. And then see here pz, here also this is the one of the orbital which is here the having the plus charge, and this is one more orbital which is overlapping with it. It is also same sign. These are having the same sign, orbitals will going to be overlap with each other, and this is the attractive interaction we can say. It is the attractive interaction. This is the attractive interaction. Okay. In case of negative overlapping, might be you are guessing, here the atomic orbitals, the lobes of the atomic orbitals which are merging with each other, those are having the opposite signs. See here, this is having the positive, pz is having the positive, and yes, that is here also pz which is having the negative sign. The orbitals lobes are having the opposite sign, those are overlapping, means that will be the negative, and it is called as a subtractive interaction we can able to say. And then third one is zero overlapping. See here in case of zero overlapping, what happens, there is no symmetry, symmetry is not there, and such an interaction there is no interaction, and zero overlapping is there is, it cannot be able to observe, and there is no symmetry, even there is no interaction will going to be occur. Okay. So, orbital overlapping means the merging of the orbital is nothing but orbital overlapping. There are three types of the overlapping: positive overlapping, it is an attractive type of the interaction will going to takes place, and the orbitals with the same sign, the lobes of the orbitals which are having the same sign, those will going to overlap with each other, that causes the positive overlap. If the orbital lobes which are having the opposite sign, those will going to be merge, means there is a negative type of the overlapping will going to be occur. So, in case of zero overlapping, no symmetry is occurred, even there is no interaction will going to be takes place. So, this is how we can explain about the orbital overlapping concept. Okay. Depends upon the overlapping of the orbital, we can able to divide the bonds into two types. One is the sigma bond, one more is the pi bond. Sigma bond is the bond which is formed by the head to head overlapping. Sigma bond is formed by the head to head overlapping. There are three types of the overlapping we can able to observe here: SS, SP and PP overlapping. In case of SS overlapping, two of the S orbitals overlap with head to head orbital. There is a formation of the like this SS sigma bond. Similarly, SP means one of the S orbital and one of the P orbital, those will combine with each other. There is a formation of the sigma bond, and here PP orbital, here also like this overlapping we are going to get. This is the sigma bond. Sigma bond is very strong because the head to head overlapping is there. So, the extent of overlapping is maximum in case of sigma bond. That is why sigma bond is stronger than that of the pi bond. Pi bond is formed by the side wave overlapping. For example, PP overlapping, let us go for PP. Suppose this is one of the P orbital and this is also one of the P orbital. These will overlap by the sideways. The sideways overlapping is nothing but a pi bond. It will going to cause the pi bond. Always sigma bond is stronger than the pi bond. Why? Because in case of pi bond, there is a that is overlapping is sideways overlapping. It is what we can say, overlapping is not that much extent, that is not more powerful, but in case of sigma bond the overlapping is to the maximum extent. Because of that, sigma bond is always stronger than the pi bond, and sigma bond has its own individual existence, but pi cannot able to exist individually. Always pi can able to exist with the sigma bond. This is also one of the main point. Okay. So, this is how we can explain about the sigma and pi bond. I hope you got it. Next concept is very important, that is hybridization. So, hybridization. What is need of hybridization in case of chemistry? Hybridization is the process of intermixing of the atomic orbitals which are having slight energy difference in order to get a new set of the hybrid orbitals which are having the same energy. Okay. See here, I will explain you. Let us take, these are the atomic orbital, shortly I wrote, these are the atomic orbital, there are atomic orbitals, and these atomic orbitals are slightly differ in their energies. The energy varies in these two atomic orbitals. So, after hybridization, when these will, the intermixing of the atomic orbitals which are having the slightly energy difference, and after hybridization they will going to produce a set of hybrid atomic orbitals which are having the same energy of that of the atomic orbitals. All the hybrid orbitals are having the same energy. Previously these are having the different energy, but after hybridization, whatever the hybrid atomic orbitals formed, all are having the same energy. Okay. So, here let us go for the features of the hybridization, that is the silent features of the hybrid orbitals. We can say that the atomic orbitals which are combining with each other, those must be very slight, energy variation must be there. The energy must be differ from each other with a slight amount, not big amount, it must be slight. And the number of the atomic orbitals which are undergoing hybridization, those will going to produce the same number of the hybrid orbitals. And the arrangement of these hybrid orbitals gives the geometry of that molecule. And one more thing we can say that whatever the hybrid atomic orbitals which are formed, those are having the same energy. So, these are we can able to briefly introduce, give information about the silent features of the hybridization. So, hybridization, there are three types of the hybridization which are involving s and p orbital. One is sp hybridization, sp2 hybridization and sp3 hybridization. It means in case of sp hybridization, one of the s orbital and one of the p orbital combine with each other to give two sp hybrid orbitals. One of the s orbital, one of the p orbital which combine with each other to give two sp hybrid orbitals. Okay. In case of sp2, one of the s orbital and two of the p orbital which combines with each other 1, 2, 3. 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals are going to form. Okay. In case of sp3, one of the s orbital 3p, either you can write or you can split it, and totally how many? 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals are going to be generated. Okay. So, this is how we can explain about the definition of the hybridization, silent features of the hybridization and types of the hybridization which involving the s and p orbital. Okay. In our next class, we are going to discuss about the how sp, sp2, sp3 hybridization will going to take place in different molecules. Okay. Let us go for the example for the hybridization. So, as I said you, there are three types of the hybridization, sp3, sp2 and sp. So, let us briefly explain about the sp3 hybridization in case of the methane. Okay. So, if the sp3 hybridization is there, geometry will be tetrahedral and bond angle will be 109 degree 28 minute, and then it carries 25% of s character, 75% of the p character. So, how exactly it takes place? So, let us go for the methane. Methane is having the carbon whose atomic number is said to be 6, and its configuration I am going to write as 1s2, 2s2, 2p2. Okay. So, this is the ground state electronic configuration. If I wrote excited state, that shortly we are writing ES, excited state configuration. This is the 1s orbital, this is the 2s, and this will be the 2p orbital, 1s, 2s and then 2p. So, what happens in the ground state, there are 2 electrons in the 1s and 2 electrons like this, 2s2 and 2p2, like this electron arrangement was there in the ground state. But during excited state, one of the electron from the 2s will going to jump for 2p. Okay. And then these s and p orbitals which are having the different energy, and these combines with each other to give the orbitals which are having the equivalent energy. Okay. So, here sp3, all these one of the s and 3 of the p orbital undergoes hybridization, they produce 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. Okay. So, the carbon now possesses the 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals. So, this is our central carbon atom. How many sp3 hybrid orbitals it has? It has 4. So, let me draw those. This is the one of the hybrid orbital, this is the one of the hybrid orbital, and this will be the one more, and this will be the. So, 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals of carbon, and these 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals of carbon combine with 1s orbital of the hydrogen. 4 hydrogens are there. So, 1s orbital of the hydrogen like this. These are the sigma, 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 sigma. These are the 1s orbital of the hydrogen, and these 1, 2, 3, 4 are the 4 sp3 hybrid orbitals of the carbon, and which is having the octahedral shape, and here the bond angle will be 109 degree 28 minute, which is having the tetrahedral shape. Clear? So, this is how sp3 hybridization takes place in case of methane. So, let us go for the sp2 hybridization. So, here sp2 hybridization, ethene is the example. As I said you, in the carbon similar. So, here in the ground state configuration only I will write in the excited state, one of the electron jumps from 2s orbital to 2p orbital. This is the excited state configuration. Which type of the hybridization? sp2. It means one of the s orbital, two of the p orbital. Only these undergoes hybridization, which produce 3 sp2, 1, 2, 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals. It means one carbon is having the 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals and one remained unhybridized p orbital. This is what we called as unhybridized p orbital. So, let us take for the like this. This is the first one, 2 carbons are there. I will take neighboring carbon, 2 carbons are there here. Okay. Each carbon has how many sp2 hybrid orbitals? This carbon has 3 sp2. So, first one I will draw here, that overlaps with sp2. These 3 I will write. 3 sp2 hybrid orbitals, and here one more and here one more. Okay. And for this also similar. One of the hybrid orbital of this carbon overlaps with the neighboring carbon, overlaps with the neighboring carbon. Okay. And one more sp2, one more sp2 hybrid orbital. Now, how it looks? C single bond C. Okay. This is sigma. And these other hybrid orbitals, one hybrid orbital is merging with the neighboring carbon's hybrid orbital, and these two merge with the 1s orbital of the hydrogen like this, hydrogen, hydrogen. Now, how it appears? Like this. How it appears? Like this. Okay. And then what happens here? There is a one more unhybridized p orbital. There is a one more unhybridized p orbital. This unhybridized p orbital is shown like this. This unhybridized p orbital is shown like this, and it will going to overlap by the sideways. It will going to overlap with the sideways, and it forms one of the pi bond here. It forms one of the pi bond here. It is a sigma. It is the pi. So, ethene is the example for the sp2 hybridization. I hope so you understood. First, we are talking about the hybrid orbitals, 3 hybrid, and next one is unhybridized p orbital. And here it is a trigonal shape which is having the 120 degree, and it carries a 33.3% of s character and 66.6% of the p character. So, let us go for the sp hybridization. In case of sp hybridization, we are taking the example as ethyne. Okay. It is the example of the ethyne. So, again here this is the excited state electronic configuration. So, which type of the hybridization? sp. One of the s, one of the p, which forms 2 sp hybrid orbitals, and these two are the 2 unhybridized p orbitals, 2 unhybridized p orbital. So, let us go for the arrangement. This is one of the carbon, this is one more carbon. So, how many sp hybrid orbital? 2. One will going to merge with the neighboring carbon like this, it is one more. This carbon is having 2 sp hybrid orbital, and this carbon is having 2 sp hybrid orbital. In that 2, one of the sp hybrid orbital is overlapping with the neighboring carbon's sp hybrid orbital, and one more remained. This will overlap with 1s orbital of the hydrogen like this, Okay. So, now how it appears? Like this, C single bond C, single bond H, single bond H. These are sigma, obviously, sigma. Okay. Now, there are 2 unhybridized p orbital present on each carbon. So, first one I will take here, or one more, 2 unhybridized p orbitals, 2 unhybridized p orbitals are there on each carbon, and these one of the p orbital overlapping causes one of the pi bond. Sideway overlapping is always pi, and one more p orbital will going to sideway overlap, it will going to form one more pi bond. Okay. So, it carries the 2 pi bonds because there is a 2 unhybridized p orbital which will going to overlap by the sideways. So, here it is a linear hybridization we can say it, and it is also called as a diagonal hybridization, which is having the 180 degree angle, and it carries the 50% of the S character and 50% of the P character. And so, whatever now we discussed, that is only involving S and P orbital, sp, sp2, sp3 hybridization. Now, we are talking about the hybridization which is involving the d orbital, sp3d is there, sp3d2 is there, sp3d3 is there, and the respective example you can study briefly, that is PCl5, SF6 and then IF7. These are the example for the respective hybridization which involving the d orbital. Okay. So, this is the concept of the hybridization. So, let us go for the one more important theory, that is molecular orbital theory, MOT, molecular orbital theory. So, very important theory, molecular orbital theory means let us go for the molecular orbital. What is the molecular orbital? Molecular orbital is the orbital where there is a maximum finding of the electron, that is the availability of the electron, that extent will be maximum. Okay. So, here let us go for the concept. Suppose the 2 atomic orbitals are there. The 2 atomic orbitals, as you know, atom combine, it forms the molecule. Similarly, the 2 atomic orbitals combine with each other, they will going to form the molecular orbital. So, it will going to form the 2 types of the molecular orbital, depends upon its overlapping. Okay. So, the atomic orbitals combine with each other, they form the molecular orbital. But this molecular orbital, shortly I wrote, this molecular orbital having the 2 types. One is bonding molecular orbital, one more is anti-bonding molecular orbital. Bonding molecular orbital is additive type, additive, while this one is subtractive. Okay. See here, suppose what happens here, psi A and psi B are the combining atomic orbitals. Okay. If they are combining in a additive way, that is plus, it means it will going to form psi AB bonding molecular orbital. It will going to form psi AB bonding molecular orbital. So, here I will explain you. So, wave function of the 2 atomic orbitals psi A and psi B, and these combine with each other. What will going to form? There is a formation of the psi AB molecular orbital. So, I said you molecular orbital can be formed in 2 ways. One is bonding molecular orbital, one more is anti-bonding. How bonding is formed? Bonding molecular orbital is formed by the additive psi A plus psi B. This is the bonding. While anti-bonding molecular orbital, that is formed by the subtractive psi A minus psi B. And keep in mind, always anti-bonding is represented by the star, always anti-bonding is represented by the star. Okay. So, this is how we can explain the about molecular orbital theory. So, keep in mind that whenever the atomic orbitals combine with each other, they are going to give molecular orbital. There are 2 types of the molecular orbital. One is bonding molecular orbital, which is formed due to the additive interaction. One more is anti-bonding due to the subtractive interaction. Okay. And bonding molecular orbital is having the less energy, which is more stable, Now, let us study about this is the series which is molecular orbital configuration. To write the molecular, you know electronic configuration, there we are using 1s, 2s series. Now, we are talking about the molecular orbital. Okay. So, this is the molecular orbital series. Here sigma 1s, it is a bonding orbital, and sigma star, it means anti-bonding series. Okay. Similarly, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, and so on. This series is applicable up to nitrogen. This series is applicable up to nitrogen. I will tell you how exactly it happens. Okay. Next, one more thing you just keep in mind, bond order is equals to 1 by 2 into NB minus Na, that is bonding electrons minus anti-bonding electrons. So, NB and Na indicates the number of the bonding and anti-bonding electrons, and magnetic behavior mu is equals to square root of N into N plus 2, Bohr magneton. What is the meaning of N? N is the number of unpaired electrons. Okay. If there is a presence of unpaired electron, that is what we, and it will going to attract towards the magnetic field. That property is nothing but magnetic behavior. If there is no unpaired electrons, it will not going to attract towards the magnetic field. That is what we call as a diamagnetic property. Okay. So, let me tell you one example how to write the molecular orbital configuration. So, say here H2 molecule, H2 is the molecule. So, here I will take one of the H, one of the H, here also I will take H. What is the atomic number of H? 1, and configuration will be 1s1, 1s1. Okay. So, here this is the 1s orbital of the both hydrogen. This is the one hydrogen, this is the one hydrogen. When these combine, when these are the atomic orbitals, 1s and 1s are the atomic. What I said, when the atomic orbitals combine with each other, there is a formation of the molecular orbital. This is the sigma 1s, that is bonding molecular orbital. Okay. And one more, there is a formation of the anti-bonding molecular orbital. This is sigma star of 1s, which is anti-bonding molecular orbital. See here, atomic orbital, these 1s are the atomic orbital, those combine with each other forms the bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding. Now, one of the hydrogen, how many electrons? 1, that is 1s1 I will write. Similarly, one of the hydrogen having 1 electron, and here it will be 1s. And these two will combine with each other and they occupy the bonding molecular orbital here, like this. So, what happens? It is sigma of 1s2. It is sigma of 1s2 because 2 electrons are there. So, first always fill the bonding molecular orbital, as it is having the less energy and more stability. First bonding will going to fill up, next it will go for the anti-bonding, next it will go for the anti-bonding. Okay. So, if I need to calculate bond order is equals to 1 minus 2 number of electrons in bonding minus number of electrons in anti-bonding. So, 1 by 2 as it is, number of electrons in bonding orbital, how many? 2, minus number of electrons in anti-bonding, there is nothing. So, it is 0. It means 2 by 2, that is 1. It indicates what? In between 2 hydrogen, only single bond is there, bond order is 1, and it is a diamagnetic. How I am telling it is a diamagnetic? Because there is no lone pair of the electron, there is no lone pair of the electron. So, we can say that it is a diamagnetic. So, in this way you are going to write the molecular orbital diagram it is, and molecular orbital configuration how you are writing? Totally how many electrons are there? 2 electrons. So, if I want to write molecular electronic configuration, first series sigma 1s is there. Totally how many electrons we have? 2 electrons. Sigma 1s2 is the molecular electronic configuration of this H2 molecule. Similarly, one more example, if I took for helium molecule He2. Okay. H for 1H 2 electrons, He2 means 4 electrons. I have to distribute this 4 electron in that series. It means sigma 1s, after that sigma S capacity is 2, and then one more is sigma star of 1s2. This is the molecular orbital configuration. If I want to draw the molecular orbital diagram, same, you just take 1s, this is 1s, how many electrons? 1 helium, 2, that is 1s2, this is 1s2, 2 electrons, this is 1s2, 2 electrons, and these combine with each other, it will going to form the bonding and anti-bonding. Okay. First 2 electron comes to bonding, other 2 electron comes to anti-bonding. like this molecular orbital diagram is drawn. So, bond order if I calculate means bond order 1 by 2 NB minus NA. See here 1 by 2 NBr 2 minus 2. So, what happens? This bond order is 0. It means He2 molecule does not exist. There is no bond between He and He. There is no bond. It means it does not exist. If the bond order is 0 means that does not exist. So, similarly for higher molecules you can able to write the molecular orbital diagram and molecular orbital configuration by using this series, and up to nitrogen it can be applicable. After nitrogen slight term will going to be changed, only one term will going to be changed. And one more thing, last bit of the topic, that is hydrogen bond. Many times I said you hydrogen bond is formed between the hydrogen and most electronegative atoms like nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine. And there are two types, intermolecular hydrogen bonding and intramolecular hydrogen bonding. Intermolecule means in between two molecules. Intramolecule means within the molecule the hydrogen bonds is taking place, means that is the intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So, this is how we can explain about the whole chapter, that is chemical bonding. It is one of the very important topic, and just to apply some logic so that you can able to solve the whatever the theoretical questions are asked for your case CET. Okay, thank you.